guys, welcome back to part 3. It's been a couple days since I posted part 2 because I kind of wanted to take a bit of a break from this. And I have a lot of stuff to do with my friend Mason and stuff. Why does this keep moving the opposite direction? Yeah, now I remember I'm in this like some sort of creepy house.
I feel that we nailed a lot of areas to what Among the Sleep turned out as. So, with like I mentioned before, the big and the fantastical, I think we nailed. I love the feeling of the swamp areas in level 3. The forested house. I really enjoyed that level. In the initial design of this level, the forested house, there was an active gameplay mechanic that allowed the player to switch between the house and the forest. It's a mechanic that might have been a good fit if the whole game was based around it. But just once you...
Those floaty things, they look like memories. Maybe the next one is behind those roots.
I didn't know much about shaders before I started working on Among the Sleep. I did like an assignment on it back in school, but just saying to yourself that, yeah, okay, we need somebody that learns more about shaders, so let's do this and just dive into it and start discovering this whole world of possibilities. And then you have teammates that join you and are as eager as you at learning new stuff, and suddenly you have, like, for example, in level 3, when you place a puzzle piece in the center, like, wood stump there, and like the trees, the roots and stuff blocking the passages to the left just starts dissolving, and you just know the kind of effect you want to achieve before you start working on it. You know how to solve it, and you just solve it, and it works, and it looks amazing. That's amazing.
Once you come into the big room, you notice there's a lot of lighting focused on the 3 places you can go. They're all blocked, but you see the clear kind of motive of a painting on each one. The one in front of you, and Teddy even states this, has some floating things which are similar to the ones you've seen inside the imagination fields. It's sort of how we kind of told people, like, this is where you go.
We were actually stuck on this puzzle mechanic for the longest time, and it was one of the longest and most drawn out discussions we had of probably of the entire game, as far as I can remember. Where we first started out with statues instead of a puzzle piece, and there were things you were supposed to do with the statues, but then we had a internal argument whether this was suited for Among the Sleep because of the child team. Is this childish enough, or would the the child not understand any of this. And so we ended up doing basically the same, but in a much more child themed wrapping. So we made it a combination of a painting and a jigsaw puzzle instead. So you're basically finding jigsaw pieces, and I think it worked quite well in the end. I feel that we nailed a lot of areas to what Among the Sleep turned out as. So, with like I mentioned before, the big and the fantastical, I think we nailed. I love the feeling of the swamp areas in level 3. The forested house. I really enjoyed that level. And that's everything from atmosphere to the art. I think we've been really lucky, I guess, with the skill level of the people, and how much they did and how hard they worked for Among the Sleep.
I didn't know much about shaders before I started working on Among the Sleep. I did like an assignment on it back in school, but just
we were actually stuck on this puzzle mechanic for the longest time, and it was one of the longest and most drawn out discussions we had of probably of the entire game, as far as I can remember. Where we first started out with statues instead of a puzzle piece, and there were things you were supposed to do with the statues, but then we had a internal argument whether this was suited.
This is actually a lot of small animations here, which is interesting, and they will have a little subtle sound each time is to get people to understand that the painting is the object that you should go to, because earlier we had a lot of people kind of go around and look at everything else but the painting. Even when the painting was gone, they didn't really think about checking it. So here we are in what we call the left wing, which is sort of the first meeting with the proper forest. This is kind of where things turn a bit weird for this level. So you were just in a house in a hall, and you still have a lot of house items, but now you are in a much more foresty area. And once you go back here, there's actually not too many people who recognize this place, but you go back to sort of midways of the wing, and here we add some more sort of tension elements, like there's a bit more sound. There's a boat coming in slowly, which is just empty, and it will sink once it gets here. That's not a big thing, but there's a sound that rises in intensity kind of all the way up until you get back to the main hub area now.
I feel like I'm forgetting something.
I guess this is the first chapter with an actual physical presence of a monster. So it's introduced very gradually during the whole start of the chapter. So in this left wing, she's not walking freely around, but you have a few events to introduce her theme of water and, yeah, trees.
And also in level 3, there were a lot of quests that we planned on doing, but just we didn't find a way to do them correctly. In the left, when you're going over a crate in the water, and there was supposed to be a little puzzle where you have to find something to push it into the water so you can cross the river, but it just didn't look right when we did it, so we had to scrap that. But I like the idea. So I'm disappointed that it's not there.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, so what is this swamp monster? Why does Teddy always put me through this stuff?
Well, at this point when you crawl to the log here, this is the first time you hear the monster. It's a little bit of a like a water splash, and that's you for first sort of hint that there's something around, something active. And once you come back here, there's actually not too many people who recognize this place, but you go back to sort of midways of the wing, and here we add some more sort of tension elements, like there's a bit more sound. There's a boat coming in slowly, which is just empty, and it will sink once it gets here. That's not a big thing, but it's this sound that rises in intensity kind of all the way up until you get back to the main hub area now.
Whoa.
So here we had a little thing that we want to implement that we kind of felt that the forest was sort of wet. There was a lot of feeling with sort of the monster who had drowned and was drinking, so having a kind of humid and wet sensation in the level was something we decided. So this is like a little encounter showing this kind of distinguishing of a fire through water. Yeah. Sort of to also kind of make it a bit less light and a bit less cozy. And if you look closely while going around here, you can actually see the Haida, the monster's face sticking up. Somewhere when you go down to the water there, pokes her head up and looks at you.
So here's this airplane toy, and if you pick it up and move around, you'll actually see the propeller of the plane rotate while moving, as if it was actually flying. I think I spent about a day implementing that, which in retrospect was not the best use of time, I think. But it's a fun feature.
Yes. Maybe even I should put some sounds to that when this propeller moves. I could put a moving sound and something like that.
Yeah, definitely. We should do that.
Yeah, I should also get a computer.
I did not like that. Like all the shuffling.
This place feels. Let's not dwell here for too long.
I always enjoy the view of the well from this point, with the fireflies above and the atmosphere of the forest waiting. Then you know there's a monster waiting for you as well. I love the feeling of that.
So you modeled that, I guess, and you created the well, and you made
One example of this is the well that can be found in level 3. We had a pretty big discussion about this internally with almost everyone on the team regarding, is it realistic or not that the child is able to raise the bucket in the well in order to obtain the key and the puzzle piece. And for this certain situation, this specific situation, it just turned into be a case where gameplay trumps realism sometimes. We're not really making 100% realistic baby simulator, and it's also far out in a fantastical type of scenery and environment. So we let this one pass, even though we think that some players might question whether or not it's realistic for the child to be able to raise the bucket.
think it's important to kind of know that when you're working on something creative, you will always have lists and always have so much things you want to do before you finish. But I guess the important thing is prioritizing. Like, in my opinion, like the gates did what we kind of wanted them to. That kept people there, and it might not be the most elegant solution, but like for instance, I haven't heard anyone hating it. So maybe it's not the best one we could have done, but it does.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw the monster implemented in this area. That was super bare bone. There was no real layout. There was only a few trees, if even that. And I remembered seeing her walking, and I was playing at a time where I did not know that she was implemented, and I just had this. I could really feel it in my stomach, and I still do in several situations. In several situations, I also get really tense. So I think that's
I'm really tense right now.
a pretty clear indicator that we managed
I'm
to
very
achieve what we
clear.
wanted in here, because there are very few other things in the game that affect me in the way that a horror game should, just because we've played it thousands of times during the production. So, but this still, I feel it sometimes when I get too close and to her, and I just fall into a log or whatever.
So, what I don't like about this is that my controller shakes and my whole body's vibrating.
So we have this system which allows us to use a trigger as a spawn point for the monster, and then put up a path where the monster will go. And so basically, we drew a map. We started out by drawing a map of this island, and just set up points for where the monster should spawn, and then where it should go, and then what it should do afterwards, which is usually despawn.
It's pretty late in the game the first time you encounter a monster. It's just around the point where you start wondering if there's going to be any monsters at all in this game, or if it's just going to be a walking simulator. But yeah, the first time you encounter the monster, properly encounter it, and can actually die. When the image effects trigger there, yeah, I think it works really well.
I really hate this monster actually. Like, I noticed that I get really tense when I know she's around and I don't quite know where she's coming from. So I did something right on her. She's creepy. And like the last bit of this level, I very rarely play without kind of no keeping between. think it's important to kind of know that when you're working on something creative, you will always have lists and always have so much things you want to do before you finish. But I guess the important thing is prioritizing. Like, in my opinion, like the gates did what we kind of wanted them to. That kept the people there, and it might not be the most elegant solution, but like for instance, I haven't heard anyone hating it. So maybe it's not the best one we could have done, but it does the job, which is sometimes good enough, and it let us focus on other things, you know, like making the next part really scary, because this part coming up is actually maybe the best thing in the game in a way. Like one of the coolest things when it comes to scare factor. So we have actually two chase sequences. That was the first sort of chase thing. I'm not gonna turn around now. And here is the next part, because now she's gonna... This is actually quite mean, because we implemented this for a test to show people at the GDC, and we made it impossible to escape her here. So this is where we keep it. Now we, but of course in the game there is a way. She will rise behind you. When you go through again, you will get like the same sort of washing off, and it will be less tense when you go into the main area again. Rinse off, rinse.
If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I am really scared after what happened. I had to sneak past her. Well, actually, you know what? It's not going to be the end. I gotta at least beat this area. you know, if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'm probably gonna have a panic attack. No, 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 no. Anyways, guys, I should have ended it off in that meeting. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Peace out. Don't miss out on another video.